Did you know Drake sampled Burna Boy's voice long before he was on any of our radars? Burna Boy is a musical powerhouse. He's taken the African music scene by storm. And in 2019, he made history when he was crowned with the Best International Act Award at the BET Awards and Best African Act at the MTV Europe Music Awards.
Haha, Burna Boy!
In 2020, he was again named the Best International Act, making history as the first artist to win back-to-back awards in this category. In 2021, Burna Boy was the winner of the Best World Music Album category at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards for his fifth studio album, Twice as Tall. The musical genius has been turning heads for well over a decade now. In this video, we're going to take you through how Burna Boy became the African giant and how he's planning to keep that success going for as long as possible. The early life. Burna Boy, whose real name is Damini Ebunoluwa Ogulu, was born in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria on July 2, 1991. Damini Ebunoluwa Ogulu is a Nigerian singer and songwriter born to a language translator mother, Boze Ogulu, and a welding company manager father, Samuel Ogulu. He has centuries of cultural heritage in his blood. From an early age, Damani was inspired by his parents' strength and ambition to bring out the best in him. This same spirit pushed him to pursue his dreams and create an art that inspires others. His grandfather is Benson Indonesia, a veteran radio broadcaster, music critic, and one-time band manager of Fela Kuti. His mother was also a former Kalakuta queen, one of Fela Kuti's female dancers. Burna Boy learned early on that he was good at music. His parents didn't stop him from following his dreams. Instead, they encouraged him. At age 10, his schoolmate gifted him a copy of the music production software Fruity Loops. Even at such a young age, Burna Boy started making his music with the software on an old computer. Burna Boy had his primary education at the Montessori International School in Port Harcourt. He later moved to the Corona Secondary School in Agbara, Lagos State, for his secondary school education after his parents relocated there. Burna Boy left Nigeria after finishing secondary school to study media technology at the University of Sussex in the United Kingdom from 2008 to 2009. From 2009 to 2010, he studied media communications and culture at Oxford Brookes University in the United Kingdom. After his studies in the UK, Burna Boy returned to Port Harcourt. He took on a year-long internship at Rhythm 93.7 FM in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, in the southern part of Nigeria. Musical style and influences. The 6-foot Nigerian musician had a distinct musical style that combines the sounds of Afrobeat, dancehall, and reggae. He's drawn influences from various sources, including Fela Kuti, Bob Marley, and vibes from other artists. Music career, awards, and nominations. Damini had a slight advantage while getting into the music industry because his grandfather, the amazing Benson Indonesia, has a huge influence in Nigerian music. His grandfather was even responsible for managing renowned multi-instrumentalist Fela Kuti. He showed immense dedication and passion to the scene, inspiring generations of aspiring musicians with his ambition and his drive, which he passed on very early to Damini. He made sure that Damini could see just how great the music industry can be if you get into it the right way and do the right things with it. It ended up being the light that started the fire in him to move mountains with his music. While he's always had a knack for music, he initially thought he would be happy just crafting upbeat songs that first got listeners to take notice of his mixtapes in the early 2010s. Still, it turns out he was destined for something far more. Burna Boy embarked on an ambitious journey to the southern coast of Nigeria in pursuit of recording space. After driving for 3 hours, he reached a studio owned by Lyric, a little-known producer who went on to become his first collaborator. Situated atop an intricate network of petrol pipelines, this studio marked the beginning of Burna Boy's career. Burna Boy signed with Aristocrat Records. Under this company, Lyric crafted the clattering beat for the 2012 hit Like to Party, which catapulted Burna into local fame. Like to Party is the lead song from his debut studio album, Life, released on August 2012-2013, selling 40,000 copies on the first day of its release. Other top charting songs on the album include Run My Race, Yawade, Always Love You, and Tonight. This whole album was produced entirely by Lyric, who went on to become a massive producer himself later on. The album's music was inspired by Fela Kuti, King Sunny Ade, and Bob Marley, and generally received positive reviews from music critics. It was nominated for Best Album of the Year at the 2014 Nigeria Entertainment Awards and peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Reggae Album Chart. Burna Boy left Aristocrat Records in 2014, and in February 2015, he launched his own record label, Spaceship Entertainment, under which he released his second studio album, On a Spaceship, on November 25, 2015. Burna Boy is now signed to Atlantic Records as well as Warner Music Group. Burna Boy returned in January 2018 with the release of his third album, Outside. With hits like Yeah, Heaven's Gate, Rock Your Body, Konibahe, Sickle Down, and Streets of Africa, the album helped him gain international notoriety. At the Nigerian Entertainment Awards, the album was named Album of the Year. He was one of the African artists chosen to work on Beyoncé's album, The Lion King, The Gift in 2019. He penned and recorded the single, Jara, and was the only guest performer to have his own tune on the album. That same year, Burna Boy became the first Afrobeats musician to sell out Wembley Arena. Also, at the 2019 Sound City MVP Awards Festival, he won 4 awards, including African Artist of the Year, Listener's Choice, and Best Male MVP. His fourth studio album, African Giant, which includes top charting singles such as Anybody, Killing Them, Gobana, On the Low, Dangote, and others, was released on July 26, 2019. At the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards in 2020, the album was nominated for Best World Music Album. However, he was defeated by a Beninese vocalist, Angelique Kidjo. Burna Boy released his fifth studio album, Twice as Tall, in 2020 during the epidemic. The album was executive produced by American music icon P. Diddy, Sean Combs, and his mother, Bose Ogulu. The record, which was published on August 14, 2020, won Best World Music Album at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards. As a result, Burna Boy became the first Nigerian musician to be nominated for a Grammy Award for the second year in a row. Commercial success. Burna Boy's commercial success was first recognized with the release of his third studio album, Outside. Outside debuted number 1 on the Billboard Reggae Album Chart and was certified gold by RISA. The album spawned a series of hit singles, such as Gbona and The Low. His album African Giant peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200 and featured collaborations with several notable artists such as Future, YG, Georgia Smith, and Damian Marley. In addition to his success on the charts, Burna Boy has earned numerous awards throughout his career, including 2 BET Awards for Best International Act and 1 Grammy Award for Best World Music Album for African Giant. He was also named Artist of the Year at the 2020 All-Africa Music Awards. Burna Boy has achieved mainstream success in recent years, collaborating with popular Western artists such as Ed Sheeran and Stormzy. He has also been featured in films such as Black Panther and Queen and Slim. Burna Boy's single Destiny from the African Giant album was put on the playlist at Joe Biden's inauguration as President of the United States. Balloon d'Or, his most recent collaboration with Wizkid, was released in January 2022. With this unique sound and style, Burna Boy has made a name for himself as one of the most successful African artists in the music industry. Burna Boy was nominated 120 times throughout his musical career and won 54 awards. His issue with Coachella. Burna Boy and Mr. Easy were announced as the only Nigerian and even African musicians performing at Coachella 2019. This was an incredible feat, considering Coachella, or the Coachella Valley Music Arts Festival, is one of the most well-known music festivals worldwide. As one of the festival's shining stars, Burna Boy expressed his disappointment with how his name was formatted on the lineup list. It appears beneath those of other headliners. It is written in a much smaller font. It felt like a jab at his success, but he wasn't happy about how the show went about it. At Coachella, I sincerely thank you, but I don't like how small my name is written on your bill. I am an African giant and will not be reduced to whatever the tiny writing means. Fix things, please, he said. He still got out there and performed his heart out. His beef with Davido. The initial spark for the feud was in autumn of 2019. Burna Boy made history by becoming the first African act nominated for a Grammy Award for Best World Music Album with his hit album, African Giant. Though he lost out on the award, he was proud to have been chosen to be honored in the prestigious ceremony. Unfortunately, shortly after his nomination, some Twitter users began suggesting his success had been handed to him by other African artists like Davido and Wizkid. This was a big insult to Burna Boy, who has worked hard for years and created a unique sound. He fired back at the Twitter user, making it clear that he did not owe anyone in the industry anything. Davido and Burna Boy's beef started with the former releasing a track titled FEM, which is Yoruba slang for shut up. In this song, Davido addressed Burna Boy in the line, "Then Adagwa says, 'We like to party, just call me.'" This references both Adagwa and Like to Party, songs by Burna Boy. Burna Boy had no intention of going numb after Davido released FEM. Burna Boy also appeared to address Davido in 2 tracks, Way Too Big and Nor Fit Vex. The beef got so bad that they also began to clash in real life. In early 2021, the two escalated their feud by fighting in a club in Ghana. A 9-second video reportedly shows Davido and Burna Boy leaving a bar in Ghana angry. According to an eyewitness, Burna Boy forcefully charged Davido. They had to be separated before things got out of hand. The African giant and his boys were later ordered to leave the premises. However, they soon realized that going at it the way they were would ultimately harm their career, so there came a point where they had to settle things outside the public eye. It has been a while since the two were seen on opposing sides online or offline. Caribbean Tour. The African giant, as he likes to call himself, is capping off a historic year in which he became the most played African artist on Apple Music and Spotify. The Grammy winner is one of a few, if not the only, prominent artists to take his tour to the Caribbean islands. In the last quarter of 2022, Curaçao, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Suriname, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago have all enjoyed a live show from the African giant. Burna Boy's team explained how the Caribbean tour is about bridging the gap at a press conference held at the Hilton Trinidad in Port of Spain. Burna Boy will be the first African musician to play on all 3 of the stages. This is a big step in the fast rise of Afrobeats as a popular music style. This is also how you keep your name buzzing by not forgetting about the small market fans. On that note, we'll wrap up today's video. What did you think about Burna Boy's come-up story? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next one.